This is the Sri Ramana Maharshi satsang, a time to listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a guru or a teacher. I love Ramana's teachings and so want to share it. I'll be reading and commenting on the Ashtavakra Gita, chapter 10, verses 5 through 8. In these verses, Ashtavakra speaks of quietude. You are one, awareness itself. The universe is neither aware nor does it exist. Even ignorance is unreal. What is left to know? Attached as you have been to kingdom, sons, wives, bodies, pleasures, life after life, still they are now lost forever. Prosperity, pleasure, pious deeds, enough! In the dreary forest of the world, the mind finds no rest. For how many lifetimes have you done hard and painful labor with body, mind, and speech? It is time to stop. So let's explore these verses where Ashtavakra speaks of quietude. 10.5 You are one. Awareness itself. The universe is neither aware nor does it exist. Even ignorance is unreal. What is left to know? This verse directly points to the essence of your true nature as pure awareness. You are the one, the eternal witness that remains unchanged and untouched by the fluctuations of the mind and the material world. The universe, with all its forms and its experiences, is seen as a mere projection of the mind, lacking independent reality. Even ignorance, which clouds this realization, is ultimately an illusion with no substance of its own. When you realize this truth, you see that there is nothing left to pursue or to understand externally. Everything you seek is already present within you as the self, complete and whole. This verse is a profound reminder to shift your attention from the temporary and transient external world to the changeless inner reality of your own being. It challenges you to see through the illusions of the universe and recognize that all knowledge, all seeking, ultimately points back to the self. What is real is what is lasting. When you understand that you are awareness itself, independent of the body, mind, and external phenomena, the endless search for meaning outside yourself ceases. This realization brings about a deep inner peace, as the need to acquire or achieve anything in the world dissolves. You rest in the understanding that you are already the fullness that you have been seeking. So know yourself. 10.6. Attached as you have been to kingdom, sons, wives, bodies, pleasures, life after life, still they are now lost forever. This verse highlights the impermanence of worldly attachments. Throughout this and countless lifetimes, you have formed deep bonds with various aspects of the material world: country, family, physical pleasures, and the body itself. Yet all these attachments are temporary and will inevitably fade away. No matter how significant they seemed at the time, they will all be lost, leaving you to realize the transient nature of everything that is not the self. This verse calls you to reflect on the futility of investing your identity in happiness in what is destined to pass away. Focus instead on what is changeless. This verse urges you to reflect on and contemplate the fleeting nature of worldly attachments. It reminds you that no matter how deeply you cling to relationships, possessions, or status, they cannot provide lasting fulfillment because they're impermanent. By recognizing this truth, you're encouraged to detach from these external dependencies and focus on the one thing that is eternal and unchanging: your true self. This detachment is not about abandoning responsibilities, but about understanding that your true identity and peace do not rely on anything external. Embracing this perspective can lead to a profound sense of freedom and inner stability, as you are no longer swayed by the rise and fall of worldly circumstances. You are at peace. You are peace itself. 10.7. Prosperity, pleasure, pious deeds, enough. In the dreary forest of the world, the mind finds no rest. This verse conveys the dissatisfaction and restlessness that arises from seeking lasting fulfillment in the ever-changing external world, whether it's through accumulating wealth, indulging in pleasures, or even engaging in virtuous deeds. The mind remains unsettled and never truly at peace. The world is compared to a dreary forest, dense, confusion, and unable to provide the comfort or clarity that you long for. This verse serves as a wake-up call, indicating that no amount of worldly achievement or pleasure can satisfy the deeper yearning for true rest and contentment. This verse speaks directly to the heart of why spiritual practice is essential. It highlights the inherent limitations of trying to find lasting peace and satisfaction through external means. No matter how much you achieve or how virtuous your actions may be, the mind will remain restless as it continues to seek fulfillment outside the self. This verse encourages you to look beyond the transient rewards of the world and turn inward to discover the source of true peace. The significance lies in recognizing that only by resting in the self, beyond the distractions of the mind and senses, can you find the deep and abiding peace that you seek. This realization prompts a shift in focus from outward achievements to inner stillness and awareness. 10:8. For how many lifetimes have you done hard and painful labor with body, mind, and speech? It is time to stop. This verse reflects on the time you spent striving and struggling in the material world. Through endless efforts with your body, mind, and speech, you've sought to achieve, acquire, and control, believing that this will lead to fulfillment. Yet, despite all the effort, the cycle of struggle and dissatisfaction continues. This verse calls you to stop the reckless pursuit, recognizing that true liberation does not come from external efforts, but from realizing the futility of these pursuits and turning inward to the self. This is a powerful invitation to cease the endless striving that characterizes human existence. It speaks of the exhaustion that comes from constantly seeking to accomplish, improve, or attain something in the world. In the context of spiritual practice, the verse encourages you to recognize that all this effort ultimately leads nowhere, because the true source of peace and freedom lies not in external achievements, but in the realization of your own true nature. By stopping the ceaseless activity and resting in the awareness of the self, you break free from the cycle of suffering and find a profound sense of peace and contentment that is independent of external circumstances. These verses from the Ashtavakra Gita emphasize the impermanence of worldly attachments and the futility of seeking fulfillment through external means. They guide you to recognize your true nature as pure awareness, urging you to let go of the endless striving and rest in the self, where true peace and liberation are found. So, know yourself and be always free and at peace. And now, a video from Nome, that which is always.
The Maharshi most eloquently reveals the truth, the supreme truth, in silence. It is the same silence as that of Dakshinamurti, for silence is indivisible. Non-dual. and eternal. It is non-dual in that there is no alternative to the reality. It is that which exists, the self, Brahman. Mauna Vakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam, revealing the supreme truth, or the truth of the supreme Brahman, by silent speech. What else is this silence but being itself? To realize this for yourself, you have only to abandon the assumption of yourself. Where individuality subsides, there is the revelation of truth. It reveals itself to itself. There is no other involved in this. The truth of the self is not revealed to an individual. Yet when individuality is relinquished, in the inquiry that reveals its utter non-existence, truth remains self-luminous, self-revealed. That truth is the very being of the self, the very being of Sri Ramana, the only being or existence that actually is. For it is one without a second. There is no alternative to reality. Where there is no alternative to the non-dual reality, there is no potential for suffering, because there is no ignorance. And there is no ignorance because there is no misidentification. There is no misidentification because there is no one to become misidentified, or to be ignorant, or to be bound, and so forth and so on. What is necessary already is. And in terms of spiritual practice, all that is necessary is a profound inquiry into one's own nature. Your nature is no mere body, and your nature is no mere thought. What is your existence? What is it that does not appear for you and does not disappear for you, but is who you are? Who you truly are, the self, is immutable, and therein lies its indestructible peace. A peace, a bliss, not dependent on bodily or mental conditions. Since it exists, since it is non-dependent, since it is eternal, it is then without birth and without death. To superimpose that which is changeful, that which appears or disappears, that which has birth or death, beginning or end, indeed anything objective, upon yourself and to regard it as yourself, such is delusion. To abandon such delusion, by knowing it to be delusion, is the self-revelation of true knowledge. Put the question to yourself, who am I? if you were born, that is, if there is an I, there is anything else. If the true nature of yourself is eyeless, unborn, how could there be anything else? Satchidananda, Satchit Ananda, being, consciousness, bliss. With this phrase, all of you are familiar. It signifies your own nature. But what is this, your own nature? What is that Sat, that being? Not imagined as an I, as a body or an object. What is that Sat in itself? What is that Chit, that consciousness? Not a thought, not a concept about it. Not some activity of the mind. What is the consciousness itself? What is that Ananda, that bliss? And how could you search for this, your true self, as if you were apart from it? The search for it must necessarily consume the one who seeks. That imagination vanishes. And the real which always is self-revealed. It is as it is always. But we can speak of the self-revealed, the eternally revealed, revealing itself again. Of course, this is said only loosely. The reality ever is as it is, perfectly so. Brahman knows no change. You are that, and that is all that you are. Know it for certain by inquiring within yourself. Who am I? Abandon the objectivizing outlook and abide in true knowledge. In that, as that itself. Wherever and whenever truth is revealed, it is always self-revealed. The silent self-revelation of being. Since it is almost Christmas, I brought along just a few phrases, a few aphorisms from some ancient Gnostic works that are pertinent to what we are talking about this morning. Just a few. This is from the Dialogue of the Savior. The Savior said to his disciples, "Already the time has come, brothers, that we should leave behind our labor and stand in the rest. For he who stands in the rest will rest forever. And I say to you, dwell in heaven always." His disciples said, "Lord, who is the one who seeks and who is the one who reveals?" The Lord said, "The one who seeks is also the one who reveals." Matthew said, "Lord, when I," and there's a missing word in the text here, "what I said, who is the one who speaks and who is the one who hears?" The Lord said, "The one who speaks is also the one who hears, and the one who sees is also the one who reveals." The Lord said, "He who is from the truth does not die. He who is from the woman, in other words the body, dies. Miriam said, "Tell me, Lord, why I have come to this place, to benefit or to suffer loss?" The Lord said, "Because you reveal the greatness of the revealer." Matthew said, "Why do we not put ourselves to rest at once?" The Lord said, "You will when you lay down these burdens." Matthew said, "In what way does the little one cleave to the great one?" The Lord said, "When you leave behind you the things that will not be able to follow you, then you will put yourselves to rest." This is from the Gospel of Philip. Philip is writing and he says, "Jesus revealed himself at the Jordan. It was the fullness of the kingdom of heaven. He who was begotten before everything was begotten anew. He who was once anointed was anointed anew. He who was redeemed, in turn redeemed." And last but not least, the Lord said, "Blessed is he who is before he came into being, for he who is, has been, and shall be." That which is, without birth and without death, which always is, and always is as it is, utterly formless, without division, utterly indivisible, for which there is nothing else, no creation at any time, which is the one absolute. That should be known as yourself. Inquire and see how this is so.
And now we will take some time to inquire ourselves. You exist. Notice that you exist, and you know that you exist. Now inquire, investigate within yourself. Can I experience my true nature as pure awareness in this moment? What attachments do I still hold to that are preventing me from realizing my true nature? Is my identity tied to external relationships and possessions? Can I simply rest in the awareness of the self? Who am I? What am I? What is the nature of my existence? All right. And you'll close with a chant. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste, and know yourself, and be always free and at peace. In 40 Verses on Reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.